Thank you so much for tuning in to our first show, Reading the Room, with your host, Joyce Licorish. I am so excited to be here reporting live from Dream Empire Publishing and Dream Empire Studios right in the heart of Duluth, Georgia. On today's show, we'll be interviewing two amazing up-and-coming authors. We love to support indie authors, authors that speak to the spirit, that move, touch, and inspire with new literary works that will speak to your heart. So on today's show, we have two amazing talents that you'll get to meet in just a moment. But before we go into that, I want to tell you about what's coming up next for Dream Empire. Dream Empire Academy hosts classes right in Duluth, Georgia, as well as on Zoom Live that go into how to become a screenwriter, how to break into voiceover, and how to write your first novel. I am a 6-time Amazon bestselling author, and I'd love to work with you to bring your dreams to reality. Thank you again for tuning in. And next up for Dream Empire Publishing, we have an event at Studio House Atlanta, Saturday, September the 10th, from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. It is our first annual Brunch and Books Author Book Fair. So you can come on out and meet and greet 20 amazing authors from all over the country. Support them by grabbing a copy of their book and have a bite of brunch. Thanks for tuning in, and we're going to bring our guest on next. Today on Reading the Room, our first guest is the amazing first-time author, Miss Neco Beasley. Neco, how you doing?
I am amazing. How are you?
Oh, it's wonderful to finally meet you in person and have you on the show.
Yes, ma'am.
Welcome to Dream Empire.
Thank you. It's an honor.
Oh my gosh. So I have to brag on Neco just a bit. She published through Dream Empire Publishing. She was a first-time author and a complete joy to work with. Her book and workbook will really set themselves apart in the industry to help men and women going through divorce. A lot of us have had to go through it.
Yes, ma'am.
Unfortunately. So what's the title of your book?
Divorce, Just a Detour to Your Destination.
Yes, and the accompanying workbook, which I'm holding right here, is called Divorce, Just a Detour to Your Destination, the Ultimate Divorce Workbook. This thing is on fire. But before we get into the book, I want to just get to know you. I want to understand what happened in your marriage, what inspired you to write this book. So just tell me a little bit about your story.
Well, my story is very unique. I've heard so many stories about how divorce was like death, and how it was so abusive, how it was so much pain and hurt, and mine was nothing like that.
It wasn't.
No,
So what's your background? What do you do? What's your day job?
Well, I'm a hairstylist.
Okay.
And I own a salon, House of Neco Salon and Boutique.
Wonderful.
So I'm the doctor, the therapist, the lawyer, the teacher, the coach.
We know what goes down in the chairs.
Yes.
I know, like in the barber's chair, the guys that come in, or at the bar, the bartender usually ends up being the life coach.
Yes.
And don't you also have an organization that helps?
Yes.
Okay,
Star
tell me about
Network,
that.
That deals with women with divorce, devastation, and depression.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Wow. So what inspired you to write this book?
Well, one major thing inspired me to write the book was to let women and men know that there's life after divorce.
Life after divorce. As a woman that's also going through a similar situation now, I can't speak to how devastating can be, especially if it's unexpected. You don't see it coming. It's like a train wreck, right? And so to get yourself back on track and pull yourself out of that hole, there are so many people that this can speak to. So I really highly encourage you guys to grab a copy of this book. So I want to get into your story a little bit more, if you don't mind.
I don't mind.
And I want to know, like, how did you know it was time to call it quits in your marriage?
Well, after the fourth time,
Ooh,
I knew
the
that
fourth time.
there
Lord
was
have mercy.
nothing that I could do to help the situation. So you got to know when to fold.
Know when to hold them, know when to fold them. That used to be one of
Yes,
my
ma'am.
mother's favorite songs.
Yes, yes.
Now, calling it quits, that's something else. So what was the first step when you decided this is it?
Well, I just had the conversation, and I let him know that we are at the end of our journey. And wasn't no screaming, no fighting, or any of that. And it was really calm.
Very
And
mature.
Yes,
That's a mature way to handle it.
absolutely.
Most people don't handle it that way.
Unbelievable, but yes, it was.
Because you think you're going to be out of pocket, out of character, but I think there's strength and power in maintaining your control.
Absolutely.
And you understanding that this is not your fault, first of all.
Yes.
And that you're owning your own happiness. Life is too short to be anything other than happy. So I'm glad that you
Absolutely.
chose you.
Yes.
Now, do you have children?
Yes.
Ooh, so how did that impact the kids?
Well, it was very hard at first because we had planned to move to Atlanta, Georgia, and start a new journey. And we went, but the ex didn't go. So there were some conversations that I had to have with the children, and it's in the book. And you do right because it's the right thing to do.
That's right.
No bashing.
No bashing.
Just talking to the children and being honest.
Now, one of the admirable things that I found interesting about the book is the fact that you were able to maintain a friendship
Yes.
with your ex. Now, there's so many of us that have not, I'm saying us, myself included, y'all, okay? But there's so many of us that have struggled with that. And when children are involved, I think it's important to have like a conversation and be able to be on the same page.
Absolutely.
And have that united front for the children's sake.
Yes.
Why do you think it's difficult for people to do that?
Well, parents want children to take sides and put them in the middle.
Yes.
Of their
your
mess.
father, your
Yes,
mother, this,
yes,
that, and the third.
yes.
Yes, I've been there.
And we had grandchildren as well. So we were all close.
Yes.
So it just had to be an open and honest conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
There was a moment in your book, I'm trying to remember your exact words, but you were telling your children that they would keep that respect for their father.
Absolutely.
Tell me about that.
So when I talked to the children, I stated to them that he has been the best father that you guys could ever have. And their fathers lived in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Okay.
But wasn't really a part of their life.
Gotcha.
And he was there.
So
every
he stepped
step of
in.
the
He
way.
was the
Absolutely.
stepfather that stepped
Yes,
in.
yes,
And that speaks volumes to the
yes.
character
As a
of a man.
stepfather.
Right. So what kind of wife were you in the marriage?
Well, I was a good wife, but it's some things that I learned about myself through the marriage that I could have did better.
Right.
So,
ooh, that takes strength,
hey,
women. Y'all hear that,
yeah,
ladies?
I coulda did
It's
better.
not always the man's fault.
Yes,
Sometimes
absolutely.
we have to take ownership for the pieces that we took part in, the things that we could have done
Absolutely.
better, situations and whatnot. So, as a woman who's going through that, I have the things that I took from the book, but I want you to speak right here to the audience and let them know what you want them to take away from your work.
Well, one of the things I want the audience to take away is to do the right thing after divorce because it's the right thing to do. You don't have to bash anyone. You don't have to have vengeance. If you do what's right, watch the doors that open for you.
Wow.
And a new journey is a good journey. So we have to understand that as well. We think that this is it. We think that it's over for me, and it's not. Believe it or not, when something new comes along, it could be a great thing.
It sure can. One of my favorite quotes is that the best revenge is a life well lived. And so the thing that I absolutely adore about your workbook, the workbook takes it a step beyond. So there's a
Yes.
workbook that goes with the book. It's about 50 pages, full color, beautifully designed, and it goes into self-care. A lot of us fall off.
Yes.
You know, for me personally, my vice has been work. So I just work until the wheels fall off. You know what I mean? Like if I work, I don't have to feel anything. I'm just going to keep working and working and working. That's not healthy.
No.
So let's talk about some of your favorite parts of your workbook and how this can help both men and women. This is not just for the ladies, right?
Right.
Men
absolutely.
and women to cope with divorce and get back on the right track. This is the ultimate divorce workbook to get on with your life. I love that. To get on with your life
Yes.
after divorce. So which pages in the workbook speak to you the most?
Well, one of the things is things I can control and things outside of my control. So we often try to control things that we can't control.
Right.
And it only gives us depression, low self-esteem,
Exactly.
doubt,
Exactly.
and feeling self-worth. You know?
Yeah, it
So-
makes you feel like you have no self-worth,
Right,
essentially,
yeah.
because you're allowing somebody else to control the narrative.
Yes.
I love it. I'm looking here through the workbook. There's a Q&A to get to know you a little better.
Absolutely.
There's some amazing quotes in here. And then you set the intention that this is to help people start the necessary steps for their journey by recovering from the devastation of divorce with the intent of being made whole. I think that is beautiful because so many people are having divorce parties and it's not to be celebrated.
No,
This
no.
is a union that did not work out, and it is a breaking of the spirit in some cases.
Absolutely.
So it's not something that you celebrate. However, there's life after it.
Yes, it
And
is.
so I love this. Applying the fruit of the Spirit for our Christians or anybody that is faith-based. However, this is not all faith-based. So if you're not Christian, that's okay. Whatever your higher power is, you'll be able to use this to get back on the road. So the ultimate divorce workbook to get on with your life after divorce. This thing is powerful, y'all. It has activities in here.
Yes.
Some amazing quotes in here.
Yes.
What's your favorite page in the book?
The first page.
Tell me about that first page. What does it say?
My intention
Yes.
for the book definitely is to help individuals get to the new journey. Get to it.
Get to it.
Get to it.
Don't talk about it. Be
Get to
about it.
Get to it.
Ain't
Get
that
to
it?
the new journey
Yes.
of recovery
Indeed.
from devastation of a divorce.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in to Reading the Room with your host, Joyce Licorish. I am a 6-time Amazon bestselling author, and I decided to start the Reading the Room show because I want to give other authors opportunity to become bestselling authors too. So we at Dream Empire Academy, dreamempireacademy.com, offer a course called the Bestseller Bootcamp. And what I do, I personally teach this class to up-and-coming authors, whether you've written the manuscript or not, to tell you how to get out of your own way and how once you've written your masterpiece to market and brand it so you too can become a best-selling author. Find out more about our next upcoming writing classes at dreamempireacademy.com. Now back to the show. So I'm still here, you guys. Thank you so much. We had to cut to commercial for a moment, but I'm still here with Neco Beasley, the amazing author of Divorce, Just a Detour to Your Destination, and the accompanying workbook. You guys, this is a powerful book. You don't want to miss out on this. If you are someone that you love is going through a divorce, has been through a divorce, because some of us have been separated for years and we still can't seem to get back on track, this is the book set for you. There is the paperback book available on Amazon, Divorce, Just a Detour to Your Destination, as well as the amazing workbook with all of the activities inside of it for self-care for men and women to get on with their life after divorce.
Yes.
So in closing, tell me about your favorite pages in the book, and then we'll go to how you can order your copies.
Helpful affirmation. I'm at peace.
I love it.
My life has a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
I do not live in fear.
I love it.
So these are just a few.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So there are affirmations, there are self-care activities, there are checklists, there are journal and planning pages in this book. It's something that each man and woman that's going through something can use to refocus that energy and shift from negativity to positivity and get back on track. So how can we find out more about you, Neco?
www.necobeasley.com,
Okay.
Amazon.com,
Okay.
or my salon.
Okay, you can
House of
check out the
Neco,
salon if
Salon
you
of
guys are
Boutique.
in Fort Wayne, Indiana. If you're not, Amazon has both copies of the book, and it's Neco, not Nico, so get it right. Neco Beasley.com. You heard it first right here on, what's the name of the show?
Reading the Room.
Reading the Room. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll be right back with our next guest. Welcome back to Reading the Room with your host, Joyce Licorish. Remember I told you we had not one, but two fabulous guests on today's show? Well, I'm here with number two, but she's number two by no means, ladies and gentlemen. This is the fabulous Diana Rhodes. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming. This is fabulous, honey. I love this book cover, The Undeniable Truth from Darkness to Light.
Yeah.
Tell us what inspired this book and why it's so important to you.
What inspired the book? Well, actually, it's a book about subliminal messages that we get when we're younger, and sometimes they're not always good messages, but that doesn't mean that's your truth.
Wow.
And as you become an adult, it becomes your responsibility to find out what is your truth.
To find the truth, to find your own personal truth.
Exactly.
Now, the thing that really struck me about the book cover, and we'll zoom in on this later, is the combination of light and dark. I see some symbolism here. There's a cross, and there are some fabulous shoes that look like they could belong to someone who walks the street a bit or, you know, has an alternative lifestyle. And then in the back are the scales of justice. So tell me about the symbolism in the cover and why this should speak to audiences.
I'd love to. The main character's name is Truth.
Okay.
And she was named that because her mother was a paralegal when she had her, and so she named her Truth. But the symbolism is basically about starting out in life one way and ending up another way. Who she started out as is not who she winds up being.
Wow.
But that's part of the journey.
And so it reminds me of one of the funniest quotes from a cartoon, Shrek. You heard that, the one where he says, I'm not an onion, but, people have layers. No,
Exactly.
onions, I'm not an onion. That whole thing, I probably screwed the quote up, but you know what I mean? Like, there are layers to us.
Absolutely.
And what we choose to do or the things that we've done, the mistakes that we've made do not define the person that we are.
That's right.
And at any point in our lives, we can decide to be something or someone else.
Absolutely.
And this is a story of redemption. I love it. I love it. I love it. The woman's name is Truth. She grows up in the crack cocaine era and tries to make sense of all the pain and suffering that she's witnessed throughout her life. And there are many of us that have gone through things, but I think what you've gone through can mold who you are, but it doesn't define who you are.
Absolutely. I was told at a very young age that I was hated since the day I was born. That was the message that I got from my family.
Wow.
And, I had my own stigma because of it.
Right.
But what I've learned throughout my life, and I'd like to share with the readers, is that just because somebody tells you what you are does not mean that's who you are. You have to, again, go on that journey and find out your particular truth. And sometimes people tell you things because they see something on you or in you, and they're jealous of it.
Wow.
And the only way they can hurt you is to put you down.
Wow.
And so you have to be careful of the things that you accept, the things that you answer to.
Right.
Because sometimes it's a lie.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's beautiful, and it's poignant, and I think a necessary message for men and women. Now, I want to speak to your writing process a little. I know you personally outside of this book, and even though this is your first work, this is by far not her first work. I'm going to brag on her just a little bit. Diana Rhodes is an amazing screenwriter. She works with Dream Empire Films and Publishing. She edits. She does all sorts of amazing things for other people. And I'm so glad that she blessed us with being able to put out her first book through Dream Empire Publishing. But I want to talk about your process. How did you finally get out of your own way and say, you know what, it's my time to write my first book? What was the process like?
That's a good question. I need quiet. I need time to go inside of myself. So I don't like to take on too many projects because then that negates the process for me. It's funny because when I'm dealing with someone else's project, I can delve into it and I can see what it is they're trying to say, where it is they're trying to go, what it is they're trying to accomplish. For me, I have to totally go inward. And I need time and space to do that.
Right.
So, yeah.
So your process is more like isolation and quiet,
very much so.
introspective moments,
Right.
so you can get it out. Now, how long did it take you to write this? Do you remember?
When I focused on it, because it's been a work for how many? Maybe I would say 2 years.
So 2 years ago, you came up with the concept, but
Right.
you really sat down, put pen to paper, and knocked this
It wasn't
thing
until
out.
this year when I finally, like I said, I finally went inside myself and sat down and focused on it that I got it finished.
And it sounds like the way this reads that there might be a book number 2.
Oh, absolutely. I already started working on it.
Oh, yes. I can't wait to read the next one. Look, you guys want to make sure you grab a copy of this book. It is, again, called The Undeniable Truth from Darkness to Light by the amazing award-winning screenwriter, Diana Rhodes. I heard that you just won your first award.
Yeah.
Tell us about that. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I won an award for one of my screenplays, one of my favorite screenplays, actually. For it's called One Single Step. It's about a single dad raising his kids. And I was just so pleased that it was received by this particular festival. So I'm very happy about that.
What I love about your writing, if I can speak to it, is that I often refer to the phrase pull back the curtain. You pull back the curtain on a lot of things in your writing. So I think there's a stigma with black fathers. Yeah. And you took the leap and shone a good light on a man who stepped in and stepped up as a stepfather. in that screenplay, and I hope that Dream Empire Films will be able to bring that to life. I'm so excited for you on your first laurel. Winning is amazing. When she was officially selected, we were in here doing a praise dance, but when you won, it was just like you didn't expect it. But that's what happens: is greatness is recognized, and you are an amazing screenwriter. So I sing your praises. Anybody out there looking for a screenwriter, looking for a playwright, she's also worked in that vein. Tell me about your experience as a playwright and some of that work.
I have a lot of off-Broadway experience. My first play was called Peace Be With Me. And that was loosely based on my own experience with domestic violence. So writing is therapeutic for me, you know. So
I love it.
Sometimes I talk to God, but most times I just write things out.
You just pour it out on the page.
Yeah, I just pour it out.
And she's done some amazing work. You're originally from New York City?
Yes, originally from New York. I moved here right after I sold the house out for the Phyllis Hyman play.
Love it.
And just been taking it up a notch ever since I got here.
Now, I've been trying to get her to bring back that Phyllis Hyman play, so I want to play Phyllis. That's my girl. No, seriously, I would love to be a part of bringing that back. But we're going to get back to why we're here today, but I just wanted the audience to understand who we're dealing with. This is a full-on creative visionary, okay? Artiste, if you will. This woman is amazing. She's my friend. We work together on a daily, but I wanted to feature her today on the show because the world needs to know the genius that is Diana Rhodes. So tell them how they can grab a copy of your book.
You can go to DianaRhodesProductions.com or you can go to Amazon.
Go to Amazon, y'all. And if you're ever on Amazon and you want to see Diana's work, you can type in her name, Diana Rhodes, or the title. And you can also put in Dream Empire Publishing and support all of the authors under our brand. So for today, that's going to complete our show. Thank you so much for being a part of it.
Thank you for having me.
You were our second guest on Reading the Room. She's also a producer on the show, so you'll be seeing a lot more from Diana Rhodes. Again, my name is Joyce Licorish. You can check out my work as well on Amazon.com or JoyceLicorish.com. And you can find out more about our company at DreamEmpireFilms.com and DreamEmpirePublishing.com if you're interested in publishing your next masterpiece. We will be taking new submissions for new guests. So if you happen to be an author, shoot us an email at info@DreamEmpireFilms.com with the subject line Reading the Room Guest, and we'd love to have you on the show. Thanks for tuning in, and you guys have a good night.